The Last Duel is a 2021 historical drama film directed and produced by Ridley Scott. It is based on the 2004 book of the same name by Eric Yeager, with a screenplay by Nicole Holofcener, Ben Folk, and Matt Damon. Set in medieval France, the film stars Damon as Jean de Carouge, a knight who challenges his friend and squire Jacques Legris to a duel after Carouge's wife, Marguerite, accuses Legris of raping her. Folk also stars in a supporting role as Count Pierre de Lincoln. An adaptation of Yeager's book was first announced in 2015, though it was not officially greenlit until July 2019. Folk and Damon were confirmed as stars and co-writers that month, with Comer and Driver joining the cast later that year. Filming took place in France and Ireland from February to October 2020, with a hiatus of several months due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Last Duel had its world premiere at the Venice Film Festival on September 10, 2021, and was theatrically released in the United States on October 15, 2021, by 20th Century Studios. The film received positive reviews from critics, who praised the performances. Now let's see what happens in the movie. In 1386, Marguerite de Carouge claims to have been raped by her husband's best friend and squire Jacques Legris. Her husband, Knight Jean de Carouge, challenges him to trial by combat, the last legally sanctioned duel in France's history. The events leading up to the duel are divided into 3 chapters, with the first 2 reflecting the perspectives of de Carouge and Legris respectively, and the third reflecting the perspective of Marguerite. De Carouge is a squire serving in the Caroline War alongside Legris, known for his fiery temper and combat prowess. When Count Pierre de Lincoln is named de Carouge's overlord by his cousin, King Charles VI, both de Carouge and Legris swear their fealty to him. Legris then visits de Carouge and informs him that de Lincoln has ordered all of his new vassals to pay their war levies. De Carouge explains he lacks the funds to pay, and Legris agrees to ask de Lincoln, who has come to trust him as a confidant and advisor, for leniency. To restore his finances, de Carouge marries Marguerite de Thibouville, receiving a large dowry from her father that includes his valuable estates. However, he learns that one particularly desirable piece of land has already been seized by de Lincoln and given to Legris. When de Carouge sues for the land to be given to him, the king tosses the lawsuit. The count retaliates by appointing Legris to the captaincy of a fort that de Carouge's family had held for generations. De Carouge is furious and suspects Legris has turned de Lincoln against him. While campaigning in Scotland, he is knighted for bravery but returns home to find that Legris raped his wife while she was alone in their castle. Knowing that de Lincoln protects Legris, he resolves to challenge him to a duel. Legris, a squire who rose from humble beginnings and briefly studied to become a monk, wins the trust of de Lincoln by using his knowledge of mathematics to fix the count's finances and by collecting the debts owed to him by his vassals, earning a place at his side. He attempts to use his new position to help de Carouge, but when de Lincoln showers Legris with gifts, de Carouge becomes envious and openly mocks Legris, becoming a laughingstock among de Lincoln's court for his childish outbursts. Upon seeing Marguerite for the first time, Legris becomes attracted to her and soon realizes that she does not fully love her husband, who is illiterate, and sees her only as a means for him to acquire an heir. Marguerite turns down Legris' affections despite being somewhat attracted to him as well. Unable to resist his lust, Legris visits her in secret when she is alone and chases her to her room before raping her, believing that since she must love him as well, he has committed no crime. In his capacity as magistrate, the count ensures that no charges can be brought against his favorite, prompting de Carouge to go before the king and request a duel. Legris, eager to save his honor, accepts. Marguerite enters into marriage with de Carouge and quickly sets about helping him restore his neglected estate. Unfortunately, their marriage is soon strained by Marguerite's failure to become pregnant. When de Carouge leaves for Scotland, he orders her not to leave the castle and not to let anyone inside. Legris shows up, tricks Marguerite into letting him enter, and then rapes her. When de Carouge returns, he is enraged and forces Marguerite to sleep with him against her wishes. Marguerite soon becomes pregnant, and de Carouge's mother warns her against bringing Legris to trial, revealing that she was also raped, and argues that what Legris did is no different. At Legris' trial, the judges harshly question Marguerite, who remains resolute that Legris raped her. Charles VI decides that a duel is necessary to settle the dispute, but Marguerite is warned that she will be tortured and burned alive and her husband loses. Marguerite gives birth to her son days before the duel is set to take place. The duel begins with de Carouge and Legris jousting until both men lose their mounts and fight hand to hand. De Carouge is stabbed in the thigh but eventually manages to pin down Legris. He demands that Legris confess or face eternal damnation, but Legris refuses and once more claims his innocence. De Carouge stabs him through the mouth, killing him. As Legris' body is stripped naked and taken away to be strung up for public display, de Carouge leaves on horseback and basks in the glory of his victory as Marguerite follows quietly behind. A textual epilogue reveals that Takeru's later died fighting in the Crusades and Marguerite continued managing his estate, living in peace for the remaining 30 years of her life and never marrying again.